Hi everyone, welcome to today's YouTube video. So today I'm going to do a little tutorial for this little knit tube top. I had quite a few requests on my Instagram, so I thought I'd just do a little tutorial for you. It's quite simple, but I'll teach you how to customize it to your shape and your body with increases at the side and then the straps as well. So let's get started. Okay, so the yarn I'm using is the King Fiber Melted Baby Sari. It's so fluffy. It's not focusing there. So pretty. I've got a code you can use, which is made by Roche. You can use that for 5% off all of their yarns on their website. I'll link it in the description below if you want to get some. But it's beautiful. This one is in the color lavender. They don't like have permanent colors, but you might find on there. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is knit a swatch. I'm using 5mm needles for this. You can just use any yarn and needles that you like because it's all made to measure. So the first thing you need to do is knit a swatch. So long tail cast on 10 stitches and then do purl one row, knit one row until you have 10 rows, and then cast off using your preferred stretchy cast off. I just did I don't know what it's called, just the general like stretchy cast off. Okay, so yeah, just knit that swatch and then we'll come back and measure it. Okay, so I have finished knitting my swatch. It's a bit small, but that's all right. So here it is. Okay, what you need to do next is you want to measure it, but you want it to be quite stretched out when you measure it because then it won't be tight. Like as you can see here, it's quite stretched out. So yes. And when you stretch it out sideways, make sure to measure the height at the same proportion. So say you're stretching it like that much, you need to measure it the height like that as well, because that will determine the length and the number of rows that you need to do. Okay, so here is my swatch. Sorry, it's got a bit fluffed out. I'm just going to show you how to measure it quickly. So, as you saw, it's quite stretched out, the top is, so I'm just going to stretch it as much as I can. So there we go. I'm going to measure that as 11, and then keeping it at the same stretchedness, measure this, which is 3. So mine is 11 by 3, and I'm just going to pop that in my chart, and it'll show your stitch counts. Okay, so mine was 11 centimeters by 3 centimeters. So the next thing you need to do is measure around your torso where you want the top to end. Okay, so this is going to be knit bottom up just because I want it to be stretchy at the bottom, and then we'll do increases at the side anyway, so the top will be bigger. I don't know if that makes sense, but I often find that cast-offs can also tend to be not as stretchy as cast-ons, so I just decided to do it bottom up. Okay, so we now need to take our measurements. So the first measurement we're going to do is around the place where you want the top to start. So that. Okay. For me, that is 70 centimeters. And then the next measurement is around your underbust. Okay. Oh, make sure it's the same place at the back as well. Breathe in, I'd say, because you don't want it to be super tight. Okay, for me that's 79 centimeters. And then the next one is around the top, like part where you want the top to be, like at the top of the top, if that makes sense. So for me, that is 86 centimeters. Okay, so the next one is from your underbust to the point at which you want the top to end. That's about 15 centimeters for me. And then you want from your underbust to where you want the top to be at the top. And that's 12 centimeters for me. Okay, so write those measurements down in a table. So number 1 is around the bottom, number 2 around your underbust, number 3 around the top, number 4 from bottom to your underbust, number 5 from underbust to the top. Okay, so for the calculations and stitch counts to adjust this to your body type, I'm going to pop a little sheet of calculations linked in the description below, so you can pop in your measurements that I just went through and your swatch sizes, and then use this video. I will refer to the letters in the spreadsheet throughout this video so you know where you are and how many stitches and increase rows that you need to do. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is cast on A stitches from the spreadsheet. I use the long tail cast on, but you can use any of your preferred stretchy cast ons. It's up to you. Okay, so now we are just doing our long tail cast on. I'm doing 70 for mine. Oh. So make sure that you have 3 times the length that you're doing. So my waist is about like that, so I want 3 times the length of that for the long tail cast on. Make your slip knot, and then I'm using 5mm knitting needles for this. Okay, so this is the long tail cast on. I will link proper tutorials for each of these techniques in the descriptions as well, if you can't quite see what I'm doing. So like that. So I'm going to do 70 of those and then attach in the round. Okay, this is my 70 stitches cast on. Now put on a marker. I don't have any with me right now, but you should put a stitch marker on and then attach in the round. So I do this by doing an extra stitch and then slipping that stitch and pulling this starting stitch over the top, if it's not too tight, which it is at the moment. Okay, like that, then letting it go and then pulling that tight. There we go. So at that point, pop your stitch marker on and then continue knitting in the round. So now knit half of the stitches. So say for me, like me, it was 70, so now knit 35 stitches around. Okay, so I've just knitted half of those stitches, so for me that's 35, so I'm halfway through. Just need to pop a stitch marker on there and then continue knitting in the round. Okay, now once you've cast on your stitches, you need to knit B normal rows and then 1 increase row. That's 1 set, and then you need to repeat that B normal rows and 1 increase row until you have a total of C rows, which should take you up to just underneath your bust, so your underbust line. Okay, so here I have done B rows, 1 increase row, another B rows. So my B was 24, My C was 50, so sorry, 23, and my C was 50, so I need to do 23 normal rows, 1 increase row, another 23 rows, 1 increase row, which takes me to 46 plus 2, which is 48, and then another 2 normal rows just to keep it in the pattern. So this is my stitch marker. So when you get to an increase row, just knit to your stitch marker, do a make one right like that, slip the marker, knit one and make one left like that, and then repeat the same thing when you get to the stitch marker on the other side of your piece, and that's your increase row. Okay, so once you have reached your underbust line, the next thing you need to do is sorry, ignore my cat in the background. Sorry. Okay, so the next thing you need to do after you've reached your underbust line is knit D normal rows, 1 increase row, repeat that pattern. So D normal rows and 1 increase row, D normal rows, 1 increase row. Just repeat that pattern until you have an extra E rows, and that should take you up to the top. Once you've done your C rows, then you move on to your D and E rows. So that's for the bust increases, and it's the same idea, it's just they will probably be more frequent increases. Okay, so once you're at this point, you need to do your stretchy cast off. I use the technique I'm about to show you, but you can use any stretchy cast off technique that you'd like to use. And then the straps. Okay, so I have just finished my E rows. So I've done my B increase, B increase, up to C, and then I've done D increase, D increase, D increase row, up to E number of rows. So I don't know if you can see, I've got an increase, so that was my increase row from B and C section, and then this is my bust section, so I've done 10 increase row, 10 increase row, and set on until I got to my E, which was 40. So now I just need to do my stretchy cast off. So this is going to be that. So take off the stitch markers as you get to them. I'm just starting the stretchy cast off after the stitch marker. That's how I do it. I'd make it quite loose because you're planning to stretch the top quite a lot. As you can see, it's quite long, the whole top, but when it stretches, it should fit good. I'm just finishing off the cast off here, and then I need to try it on. Okay, so there you go. Now I need to try this on, and we need to clip in place where we want the straps to sit. Okay, so for the straps, you want to try on your top first, and you want to put clips on to the top where you want the straps to attach. And I would also measure with a tape measure how long you want the straps to be, because when I made this first one, I made the straps a bit long, so I've had to tie it up a little bit, which is annoying. So yeah, measure, and then I'll show you how to attach the straps on. Okay, so I have put my clips on. This is the front. I'd say to put the front ones slightly more further apart than the back ones. Now we need to attach the straps. So you can either do this with a crochet hook or by knitting an I-cord. So I'm going to do mine with a crochet hook because I want it to be quite thin. I'm going to use a 3.5mm crochet hook. So get your yarn and then take one of the clips off. Okay, that's where I want it to be. Make a slip knot. I tend to not attach it super tightly at here. I just make a slip knot and then I do my first chain but with both of them. So that live yarn and then the end yarn as well together. Tends to work and not unravel for me. And then at the end I'll just weave that in quite tightly into this section here. Okay. Okay, so I've just chained about 40 just to test it. So now you need to try it on and decide the length that you want it. So try it on now and then hold it up against the other stitch marker and see if you want it longer or shorter. But make sure to keep it kind of tight because over time it will stretch a bit. So that is about 20 centimeters. I did 40 chains for that. So I've just tried mine on and I've had to shorten it by about 4 stitches, so now it's 36 chains, and I'm just going to attach it to here. So for this, make sure to be attaching it on the right side because you don't want it to be super visible when you're wearing it. So just take off that stitch and then insert your hook. That is the strap. Where's the yarn? There it is. So keeping the yarn live, then you want to, so I've just put my hook into that stitch and I'm going to make a slip stitch and then a slip stitch on either side, but going around the back. So I've just done a slip stitch to the left. Now I'm going to turn it over, insert my hook into this stitch, which is that stitch there, but from this side, so you can't see it. And then slip stitch that, and then just chain one and break your yarn. Then pull it tight, and then that should make a nice little sort of triangle because you're pulling stitches from both sides of it. And then repeat that for the other side with the same number of chains. So here is the finished thing. I'm super happy with this. Super cute, so soft. Here's the back. You can obviously leave it as a tube top if you want, but I like the little spaghetti straps as well. So yeah, that's it for today's video, and tag me in your posts if you do make it. I'd love to see them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.